Have you ever got yourself in a situation where you need to create a multi-container application? Well, one of the approaches that you could have taken was create one container after another. In my opinion, that's not the best approach. You could have easily used, for example, Docker Compose. Docker Compose basically is a tool that can help us out to create a multi-container application just using one YAML file. And in this YAML file, you are going to declare all the services necessary for your application, and with just one command on your terminal, you're going to have all the applications up and running in your local machine in an easy way that are going to increase your productivity. So let's understand deeply what's Docker Compose. Docker Compose is a tool that helps us to define and running multi-container Docker applications. Docker Compose allows us to define the services in a YAML file. We can easily spin up services and tear them down with just one command. Okay, so you can have your application that connects to SQL Server, Redis, and MongoDB. And with a command Docker Compose up, you can get up and running all these services at once. Okay, and if you don't need them anymore, you can just type Docker Compose down, and you can take them down easily. The installation steps is quite easy to follow. If you have a Windows or a macOS, Docker Compose is included in Docker Desktop for Windows and Docker Desktop for macOS. Okay, or if you have a Linux, make sure you check in the comment section below. I'm going to let available a link where you can follow the steps through this link. Okay, so let's go straight to a demonstration that I created to show you guys how easy it is to use Docker Compose and how it can increase your productivity. Now what we are looking at basically is a Docker Compose YAML file. Okay, and I'm gonna break it down this file to make sure that you guys have a good grasp on this. Okay, basically this file got the key named services. This is a root element whose keys are service names. For example, my app is a service name, SQL Server is a service name, MS SQL Tools is a service name, Redis is a service name, and Mongo is a service name. Okay, and each service got its own definition. Okay, for example, in my app we see this key named build. Okay, this key basically represents the location of a Docker file. Okay, this dot sign right here basically represents the current directory. Okay, and in the current directory we have a Docker file. Okay, this Docker file is going to be used to build the image of our application, our .NET application that I already wrote. Okay, I'm going to show you guys in a little while. Okay, let's go back to the Docker Compose, and right here we have a SQL Server. Okay, and we have a definition of the services. Okay, for example, right here we have a container name, the image location, the environment variables necessary for this container, the ports necessary to be opened. Okay, and a health check. These health checks are going to be hit by my app, because my app depends on SQL Server being healthy. Okay, let's go to the MS SQL Tools. MS SQL Tools as well have a container name, image location, and it also depends on another service. In this case, this one right here depends on SQL Server being healthy, and the volumes are going to be responsible for copying from our local machine to the container this file, user.sql and script.sh. Okay, a shell script, and this command are going to be responsible for run this shell script right here. Okay, basically this shell script are going to run an instruction that are going to send for the SQL Server services. Okay, a script that are going to be responsible for create a database in a table. So basically MS SQL Tools can reach the SQL Server services. Okay, so these services can communicate between one another because they are in the same network. One thing that you guys have to understand is all these containers that we are creating are going to be located in the same network that Docker are going to create. Okay, let's go to the Redis service. Redis service also has the image name. Okay, these images are going to be downloaded from Docker Hub. Okay, the container name, the ports that must be opened. Okay, and also it has a health check that are going to be hit by my app. Okay, because my app depends on Redis being healthy. Okay, let's go to the Mongo service. Mongo service also has the container name, the image name that will also be downloaded from the Docker Hub, the environment variables necessary for the container being running correctly, the ports necessary to be opened, and also it has a health check that is going to be called by my app as well, because Mongo must be healthy. Okay. And one other thing that I'd like to point out is in this section right here, ports, for example, right here we have the host port, okay, followed by the containers port. Okay, it's important to understand this mapping, because when we want to call a container from our host machine, we use this port right here. Okay, that's an important concept that you have to grasp when you're using Docker and Docker Compose. Okay, now that we have a good understanding about how Docker Compose works, let's check our .NET application. It's a quite simple application that I created for this lesson. Basically, the application connects to Redis, SQL Server, and MongoDB as well. Okay, I wrote a loop that are going to be ran 1,000 times, one loop per second. Okay, and basically in this loop, I'm just inserting a new record in Redis, SQL Server, and the MongoDB. That's it. And I'm gonna put the output in our terminal. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to open up my terminal. I'm going to type the command necessary to make it all works. Okay, so this is Docker Compose up. All right, and it has as a parameter the location of the Docker Compose YAML file, and we will run it in a detached mode. All right, but before we run this command, I'd like to check my Docker desktop to make sure that no container are running right now. So 0 containers. All right, let's go back to the terminal and press enter. Okay, that's right, our containers has been created, and my app are waiting until Redis, SQL Server, and Mongo are healthy. All right, so let's wait. It's quite fast. Okay, so that's it. The containers are healthy and my app is already up and running. All right, okay, now all containers are working, so let's check my app, and the output of my app is right here, so it's working fine. All right, so let's check Redis and make sure that all the keys has been created correctly as well. That's the connection. Okay, like we saw in the code, we have to have a new key every second. All right, so new key every second. It's working fine on Redis. So let's check SQL Server. Every second we must have a new record on SQL Server. So I'm going to connect to the database. I'm going to select the table users, and every second a new register must be stored. All right, you can see the registers being increased. All right, that's fine. Okay, SQL Server is working fine. Let's check Mongo. I'm going to connect to Mongo. I'm going to get the credentials on the YAML file. Okay, that's the password. The user is root. All right, let's test the connection. It's working fine. Okay, so let's check if the collection has been populated correctly. Okay, that's right. The register has been stored correctly right here as well. So everything is working properly. And now what if we want to destroy the containers because we do not need them anymore? Well, that's a quite simple task. Let's go back to the terminal and type Docker Compose down. Okay, then all the containers are going to be torn down. All right, quite simple. Then let's check the Docker desktop. Okay, no containers are running right now. All right. I hope you guys liked today's video. We just scratched the surface of Docker and Docker Compose. There are a lot of more features available to you guys, and I'm gonna produce new videos about Docker and Docker Compose in this channel. So I hope you guys subscribe to this channel And in the comment section below, I'm gonna let available the link with all the files that was necessary to create today's lesson. Okay, so see you guys in the next video. Bye.